This is Base Hit Ball 4.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to a very, very, very special edition of the BASEHITBALL4 podcast. My name is Glenn Dini, alongside Tyler Blumenstick, Scott Roswald, Alex Cashman, and a very, very, very special guest host, Sussex County minor shortstop, former first-round pick, Cito Culver is with us. Cito, thank you for coming on.
Of course, man.
So it was obviously the trade deadline has come and gone, and a few weeks ago, we kind of thought maybe in this pandemic season, there wouldn't be a lot of activity on the trade deadline, but there was, especially the San Diego Padres, who we started off the last two episodes with. We're going to start off with them again. They completely overhauled their roster, really going for it this year, acquiring guys like Mike Clevinger from the Cleveland Indians, Austin Nola, Mitch Moreland, Jason Castro, and Trevor Rosenthal for some bullpen depth. Cito, when you saw everything going down with the San Diego Padres over the last couple of days, what was your instant reaction?
I mean, I feel like they're all in, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough division to be in. NL West got Dodgers really own that division for the most part, I think. I thought going into the season, I thought the Colorado Rockies were probably going to be the second best team in that division, in my opinion, with their lineup and that ballpark they play in 60 games. They can put up a lot of runs. But then San Diego Padres, I wouldn't say coming out of nowhere, because I truly think Fernando Tatis Jr. is the best shortstop in baseball. So I knew that he was going to do some special things. And if you get Machado being somewhat of a Machado that we've seen in the past, that you know that left side was going to be pretty solid. And I think Garrett Richards has thrown the ball well for them, if I'm not mistaken, coming out of Tommy John. So I thought, I mean, they're making a good run, and obviously picking up that bullpen depth, just overhauling their whole catcher spot. They brought in two new catchers and sending Hedges out of there because he wasn't really a threat offensively for them. But you had a guy like Nola and Jason Castro, and you can platoon those guys, and they look pretty good right now.
Yeah, they did give up a lot, including their 5, 7, and 9 prospects. Taylor Trammell, Gabriel Arias is the shortstop, and then Joey Curtillo, the number 9 prospect. Scott, the main fish that the Padres got was Mike Clevinger. He's going to be that number 1 guy, game 1 of the playoffs, assuming they get there. I assume they will get there, that with half the league getting in. So that's who they needed. Your expectation for the Padres, how have they shifted over the last 24 to 48 hours?
Yeah, a very exciting trade deadline across the board, but especially for the Padres, pushing those chips all the way in, making that run. Clevinger is going to be huge for them moving forwards. He's a guy with electric stuff coming out of that Indians organization, learning from a Kluber, from a Bauer, from a Carrasco. He's got a lot of experience just being around those great pitchers. For the Padres, it's going to be huge, and he's going into a ballpark that is historically known as a pitcher's ballpark. So that's going to help them a lot moving forwards into the postseason.
Cash, what do you got?
I mean, yeah, I think they made some good moves, but I know I harped on a little bit last week, but I don't want to overlook the whole Clevinger debacle that pretty much led to his outing in Cleveland. I mean, if your teammates can't trust you to be safe and be that guy, I think that's a problem. That's a huge clubhouse problem. I know we talk a lot about clubhouse guys here. Thanks, Ty. But I don't know. They did great at the trade deadline, but that's just gonna weigh on my head a little bit if I'm a teammate of his going forward.
Yeah, and we wondered about this a couple episodes ago when the news dropped. And now that we have a professional with us, we can ask this question and get a better answer. Cito, if you're in the Indians locker room and that happens with Plesac and Clevinger, is it a relationship that can't be fixed and you have to get rid of Clevinger, or is there a way to mend that relationship? Because a lot of the Indians were very upset with what happened.
I mean, I feel like it's hard to say, because I feel like a lot of people have different outlooks on today's world and the whole COVID situation. I think some people are going to take it more serious than other people. I don't know the extent of what they got into off the field, or where they were at, or how long they were there, or who they were with, and all that stuff. But I mean, an apology is enough for me, especially with a guy that I know competes like how he does on the mound every day, where he gives us a chance to win every day. And I mean, heartfelt apology. I don't want just a run of the mill, like, sorry guys. I want something like, I was irresponsible. I own up to it, and it won't happen again. And then we move forward.
Well, I think that was part of the problem, though, right? Is that Clevinger didn't really take it seriously. He kind of just brushed off his shoulder. He didn't think it was a problem. Or am I wrong on that?
Vice versa. It was Plesac that didn't show remorse. Clevinger did
Gotcha.
give them an apology.
All right, gotcha.
And Plesac's the one that stays and gets the roster spot now that Clevinger's gone. They called him back up from the alternate site, and I believe he's going to start tonight, if I can.
He is against Kansas City.
So
Against Matt
Tyler,
Harvey, actually.
with the what's going on between Cleveland and San Diego, we talked about this before we went on. I'm very just kind of upset, I guess, even though I'm not an Indians fan. I'm kind of baffled by what the Indians are doing, because we talked about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a playoff spot now. They're very close to the division. I believe the White Sox, as we're talking right now, are in the lead for the division. This is a team that has a great lineup. They have Francisco Lindor. They have pitching staff already with Plesac and with a Bieber, even without Bauer and Kluber and now Clevinger. This is a team that has a window to win the World Series, and you gave up one of the top arms in Major League Baseball going into the playoffs. That could hurt. So if you're a Cleveland Indians fan, even though the haul that the Indians got can help them in the future, you got to be thinking, if you're Cleveland, hey, we could win this now, and this trade doesn't help us now in 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned that last week when we were talking about this, the entire thing, how, I mean, it seems like almost as if after they lost to the Cubs in the World Series that, I mean, Mike Chernoff and that whole Indians front office just started to kind of unravel. Like you mentioned, Kluber got traded to Texas. We got Bauer going to Cincinnati. Bauer's now in a contract year, so who knows where he's going to end up next. My bet is that he goes to San Diego with his buddy Clevinger, but we'll see what happens there. Look, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. And Chernoff at the beginning of this year in the offseason, he even said, like we're not going to pay Lindor, which is ridiculous because he's a top 5 shortstop in baseball, wherever you want to rank him. But I agree with your sentiment there, like at the fact that we have like kind of an opposite situation right now. Like if you look at the Marlins, who just went out and got Starling Marte, that's a team that you look at that clubhouse and they're pretty much like they're waking up the day after the trade deadline or even the day of, and they're saying like this front office thinks that we have a chance to win, and they're bringing in guys that are going to contribute and really kind of boost the morale in that clubhouse with a team that's been struggling for a really long time. But then on the other side of the coin, back to the Indians, you look at that, and if you're an Indians player, kind of like a longtime guy there, like maybe Carlos Santana, like I know he left and came back briefly, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was in Philly for a year.
Yeah. But like a guy like that, who's pretty much, when you take out the year from Philly, a career-long Indian, like what do you? I personally would be offended and kind of like a little bit upset at the fact that they don't believe that they have a chance to win and kind of wasting their prime years there, and especially Francisco Lindor. We touched on him too.
Yeah, but if they already said that they're not going to re-sign Lindor, they said they're going to let him walk, then what they did was good, right? I mean, they got pieces for their future without Lindor.
Yeah, but I don't think it's, regardless of what they got back, it's not comparable to what Lindor's production is.
I'm not saying it is, but he's already made it very clear he's not going to pay Lindor.
I understand that, but that goes along with everything that I've been saying.
But shouldn't you try to win while you have him then? If you're not, then why don't you just trade him now?
I don't have
That's a good point too.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just weird. It's really going back to that whole, I guess, tanking argument or being non-competitive. I guess there's really no way to tank in baseball because it's just hit or miss, really. Like it's not like
tank with Bieber on your team.
Say that again. Sorry, I missed that.
You can't tank with Bieber on your team.
Well, that's also true.
He's the front runner for the Cy Young.
Yeah.
Right. Or I think he might be low-key the front runner for the MVP if he keeps doing what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw an article about that.
I mean, it's unbelievable what he's done, and it's weird that Cleveland is so adamant about shedding talent when they have a chance to win the World Series. And this is not a team like, the Red Sox or the Yankees who win a lot of championships. This is a team that hasn't won since 1948. So every single opportunity, every single season that you have a chance to win the pennant and win the World Series, even if it's a 60-game season with a bubble and all that, you got to do it. And they got good players in return. I'm not knocking them on the haul that they got. They're not but who they got is not MLB ready, and they're not going to help them in 2020. So we'll see what happens with the Indians, but the story really is the San Diego Padres. So a quick yes or no. I'm start with Cash. Are the Padres they're not going to take over the Dodgers in the regular season to win the division, but are the Padres a World Series contender now with Clevinger?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to expand?
Well, you said yes or no, so I was just
Said
saying
simple
yes.
yes or no.
I mean,
Oh, did I?
you did, but
Go for it.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I think they are. I mean, I don't think that they beat the Dodgers in the playoffs to get to the World Series, but I do think that this gives them a lot more competition and depth for a playoff series. Yeah, they got dangerous. They got more dangerous, I should say.
I'll open up the floor to everyone. If Padres, can they win is this a team that can win the World Series, or do you think this is a Clevinger, a move for 2021, 22? Can this team win this World Series?
I'll jump in. I'm going to say no. I mentioned in our prediction episode, a couple episodes ago before the season started, how the Padres are that kind of sneaky team, and I think the cat's out of the bag now at this point. Tatis is getting a chance. Did he play a full season last year?
No, he got hurt.
I played 84 games.
I mean, yeah, like he's just finally getting a chance to kind of – not finally. I mean, it's his time to shine, but he's showing the world what he can do. Hosmer's having a better year. Will Myers is kind of being that consistent MLB professional that you're going to want out of a guy like him, who can play first base. He can play the outfield. You got a guy like Tommy Pham, who obviously hit the DL, unfortunately, but he was set to be a big contributor for that team after proving himself with the Rays. But when you look at the team as a whole, I mean, I don't know if this is sustainable. And when you're talking World Series contender, you got to get through the Dodgers in the NL. I mean, and they know the Dodgers very well. But it's just like one of those things where the Dodgers are just that good. And like they can – I don't see a reason why they can't make it to the NLCS and give the Dodgers a run, but I don't know if they're necessarily a World Series contender because you got to get through two juggernauts. And we've never seen a lot of these guys in the postseason also when you look at that too. So you never know. I don't know. I'm going to go with no for now, though.
I'll give them a yes. I mean, I think in this crazy season that it is, shortened season, I think anything could happen. We've seen teams that we thought were going to be terrible in the Orioles and Tigers and Marlins be competitive and be knocking on the doorstep for the postseason. So I don't see any reason why the Padres couldn't make a run at the World Series, especially with what they went out and picked up. Some good bats, some solid bullpen arms, and then obviously Clevinger is the frontliner there. So I'll give him a yes.
Do you think they can win the World Series?
I'm leaning more towards yes, and I mean my reasoning is I'm looking at matchups, right? So I mean Walker Buehler's on the DL right now, blister on his right hand, whatever. So he's not pitching at the moment, and I'm sure they're gonna wait until that thing's 100% until they bring him back because they truly at this moment don't really need him to throw games. They're not in dire need of him to throw games, but if he's going to be your one and you're going to match him with Clevinger, I'm okay with that matchup for them first, and then you have the Lamet guy and Kershaw, probably game 2, right?
Yeah.
I'm okay with that matchup if I'm the Padres. And then you got
especially
they just
since
traded,
Kershaw struggles a lot in the playoffs.
Right, and he's a left-handed pitcher, and all their big bats are right-handed bats, minus Eric Hosmer, which is I think he hits lefties well in anyways. So I think I'm okay with that matchup. They just traded Ross Stripling. Who's their 3-4 starters? The Dodgers.
I got
that
Dustin
kid with the hair.
Yeah,
Dustin May and Ryu, probably.
Dustin May.
Ryu's
No,
on
he's with Toronto.
Yep.
Oh, I mean, Urias. Sorry, my bad. That's what I meant.
Okay, so
He's going tonight, actually.
So those two guys are young, and you're going to match Garrett Richards and Zach Davies, who's been pretty fucking good for the Padres this year, in my opinion. So it's like the youth that the Padres have is a position player more so than pitching, right?
Yeah.
Is that something that we can agree on?
Yeah,
Their youth is
I'd
more
say
of their
so.
position players than their.
Mhm.
So, like, I think that the Padres might have a little bit more experience on the mound and starting pitching, minus like Kershaw, and you have Dustin May haven't pitched in the postseason. So it's like those guys are coin flip, and I don't fully believe in Kenley Jansen and at the back end of their bullpen.
Yeah,
Kenley
it's gonna
Jansen.
be
Kenley Jansen has
I
struggled.
like the Trevor Rosenthal pick.
Go ahead, Cash.
Kenley Jansen has struggled big time lately, right? And he hasn't done great in the postseason, if I'm remembering correctly. I feel like he's had his struggles, and he's blown a World Series game more than once. So, I mean, Cito's got a good point. Matchup-wise, I favor the Padres. I mean, I think the Dodgers have too much experience and too much depth not to make it to the
They
World
have
Series.
the bats.
Right.
The Dodgers have the bats,
Right.
I think. But the Padres could have the bats for a series
Right.
to
They
make
can
it a
get
good
hot
series.
without a
Right.
doubt. So, I mean, that would be a great series to watch.
I think so.
I think we're going to see it too.
Right now, the Padres would be the 4 seed. They would match up if the season ended today against the Cardinals. So that would be a Flaherty Wainwright kind of duo for the first 2 games of that series. So I think they could make a little bit of a run. I don't know if they're going to win the World Series because I think there's a lot of good teams out there. Obviously, the Dodgers and the American League teams like the Rays and the Athletics. And if the Yankees ever get healthy, them as well. So I think they could win this year, but I think they're going to be much more dangerous in 21 and 22, getting 162 games out of all these guys, maybe even possibly dethrone the Dodgers for the division, which Cash thinks is impossible.
Relax.
Yeah.
Relax. Let's see how they get through this season first before we start dethroning the Dodgers.
So we're going to get more into the trade deadline a little bit later, but right now I want to talk about the Sussex County Miners. And I don't think Cash ever thought I'd ever say that. But we
No.
have Cito Culver here, shortstop for the Miners. Miners are doing well. Cash, what's the story? They won the whole thing 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Lost to the
2018.
Jackals last year.
We're not going
And
to
now
talk about
have-
last year, but
We're not talking about last year.
2018 we won, and 2019, which was part of Cito's tenure at the team, we were wire to wire, first place the whole season. Playoffs are a different story, but regular season champions back-to-back years, and right now we are in first place again, and Cito's leading the league in hitting.
There we
So
go.
We're not going to get too deep into that.
no, but I had to throw it out there.
So
go
Cito
ahead.
drafted first overall, spent 7 seasons in the Yankees organization, spent a season with the Miners, then went to the Boulders, and now the Miners. Talk about, or if I didn't say Marlins, I meant Marlins. Talk
Right.
about the difference between minor league baseball and independent baseball in terms of the talent pool. Is it a big difference? Is it a big difference, or is it kind of a small gap in talent?
I honestly don't think it's that big of a difference. I think that last year was my first year in indie ball, and it was with the Miners in the Can-Am League, and we faced a lot of guys that were very experienced guys. I mean, Philippe Amont pitched for Ottawa last year, and he had a big league spring training invite with the Blue Jays this year.
I hate
before all this
Philippe
COVID.
Amont.
You were a Phillies fan, then I'm guessing.
I hate him. He's one of the worst pitchers I've ever seen.
Okay, but I don't know if he figured something out because he was throwing 96 mile per hour cutters.
He pitched really well last year.
Yeah, he's a big dude from what I recall. He's pretty tall and lanky. So I can imagine that he does have good stuff. He just wasn't a big league pitcher. And the fact that the Phillies got him in the Cliff Lee trade made it so much worse.
I feel like if you would have seen him pitch last year, you'd be like, where was this guy when he was with the Phillies? But he pitched for the Canadian national team. And a bunch of the guys in the Can-Am League on the Canadian side played for the Canadian national team, a lot of pitchers. So, I mean, they're experienced. They face experienced guys. These guys pitch in the WBC. So it's like they face big league guys. They know how to get people out. And I wouldn't say that the talent pool is like there's this wide gap. No shot. I think there's a lot of good baseball players everywhere. And I think the talent pool is just as good as minor leagues. I'm not going to say better, but just like very comparable in my opinion.
Well, I think that there are so many professional baseball players out there that you can't. Not every one of them can be on an affiliated team, and it's good competition. It's fun baseball to watch, and I would agree with Cito, even though I'm not on the field playing. I think it's pretty comparable.
And you know, the main goal for anybody who plays baseball, whoever picks up a bat, whoever picks up a glove, is to play in the major leagues. And not everyone has the same journey. Not everyone gets there immediately. So like some guys like Mike Trout or Bryce Harper, who are there at 18, 19 years old, a lot of people have to go through that kind of phase. Kind of like in the NBA, you don't go automatically. Some people have to start in G League or start overseas in Europe. So, Cito, talk about the grind of spending all those years in the minor leagues, now in indie ball, and you know that goal that never kind of goes away of reaching where you want to go in your career.
I mean, I love baseball. Like I have like a sickening passion for baseball. I can sit here and talk for the reason why I can't even have my own podcast is because it'd be like a 24-hour podcast. I'd just sit there and talk all the time about baseball, and I would never do anything else, which would not be good. But I enjoyed my time with the Yankees immensely. I learned so much, been around so many good people, so many good coaches, so many Hall of Famers, just experiences that I'd never thought I was going to get in my life. All of a sudden, I turned 17 and I'm walking around the likes of Derek Jeter and Robinson Cano, and these are the guys I just watched on TV like last week. It's weird, you know what I mean? So I enjoyed my time with the Yankees. I learned so much. I learned how to be a professional. They do things right there. I mean, it's the greatest organization in the world, in my opinion. I've been around so many good guys, created so many good relationships, and I wouldn't trade that away for the world. But the grind of it every day is, I mean, it's grueling. I don't think a lot of people understand how hard it is to be a 17-year-old kid away from your family, and then expected to play at the best of your ability every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't think people understand how that is. Like, that's just a tough thing to do for anyone at any age, let alone being 17 and not really mature in the way of being like a professional and understanding how much work goes into it. I mean, I think that's why there is minor leagues, is because you have to learn how to be a professional.
Mm-hmm.
But I've enjoyed the grind. I've embraced the grind. And I think everybody peaks at a different point in time. There's no really like age. I mean, Chris Colabello, one of my good friends, he played indie ball for like 11 years before he even got a shot to go play affiliated, and he made his big league debut and was a big part of that Toronto Blue Jays team that were making those runs. So, I mean, never say never, right?
I mean, yeah, that's great. I mean, Cash's favorite movie is Moneyball, and there's one of my favorite quotes of any movie in Moneyball is one of the scouts say, you know, someday we're going to be told that we can't play the child's game anymore. Some were told at 18, some are told at 40, but we're all told. I think that's the quote in that movie. And you talk about how you're 17 years old and you're away from home for the first time. You're traveling with these people that you don't know, and it can be overwhelming for a kid of that age. I mean, I remember reading Derek Jeter's book, and he called his parents every single night crying because he couldn't do it. In his first year in pro ball, he made 56 errors. I think that's the number. Mickey Mantle, same story. He talked to his dad all the time, to the point where I think the story is his dad drove to wherever Mickey was playing in minor leagues, got a suitcase and said, "If you're a quitter, then let's quit." And Mickey was like, "No, I'm not going to do that." So it's definitely a grind. I don't think people realize how hard minor league baseball is. It's not as luxurious, obviously, as being in the big leagues. You're taking bus rides for hours and hours and hours. Of course, it's well documented. The pay isn't fantastic. Really, the minor leaguers, even more so than the people that make it and make the $1 million, they really do play for the love of the game.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I agree 100%. I mean, it's tough. The bus, like some of my most memorable moments in minor league, like I'm a big like teammate guy. Like I like the relationships I built, the friendships I built from baseball. So some of my fondest memories are clubhouse things and bus ride things, not so much I mean, going 3 for 4, 2 homers is great, but like connecting with other human beings and making friends with people that you never would have met outside of this opportunity, I think it was the best part for me.
Ty, you got
Absolutely.
anything?
Awesome.
Oh, sorry,
Scott, go
Todd.
ahead.
I absolutely agree with you there, Cito. Some of my fondest memories of just playing baseball are from my teammates. AAU tournaments, being at the hotel, like just goofing around, stuff like that. I mean, that's how the four of us met, was playing baseball at Monmouth. None of us, I mean, Cash and Ty knew each other from home, but other than that, like we would have never met each other. And now we're here doing this, continuing.
It's my biggest regret meeting Glenn. I got to be honest.
All right. That's,
That
is what
hurts.
it is, man.
So yeah, baseball is a sport that can just bring so many people together and create so many fond memories. So I absolutely agree with you on that.
So I do have a question. So there's this huge, I wouldn't call it a huge question, but I've heard it a bunch. A lot of people, I know you went through the system from the bottom all the way up to the AAA level. Is AA truly harder than AAA, even though it's a level below? So I've heard a lot of people say that.
I heard that too coming up when I was in low A and high A, and you hear that type of stuff. I can only give you with my experience what I felt. I can't speak for everyone. Mm-hmm. I know that for me, I thought that guys in AA stuff wise was electric, like a lot. Like okay. You're seeing some of the most like electric stuff. Like that's where I faced Clevinger. I never faced Clevinger in AAA. I faced Clevinger when he was in Akron in AA, 2 for 4 triple. Sorry, but
Cito's got wheels, man. Cito's got wheels.
The Padres are going to pick him up real quick.
So no, but the difference between AA and AAA is when you go to AAA, once these guys figure out a way to get you out, they're going to keep going to that until you make an adjustment. So like if you keep swinging at balls in the dirt, like you're going to get a steady diet of balls in the dirt. If you keep chasing the ball up, you're going to get a steady like that with 2 strikes. They're going to throw it up because they know you chase it, and they're going to make you make adjustments. You know, so like to me, that was the biggest difference. And as far as the pitching, and the game in AAA is just cleaner, right? So you don't really see a lot of like boneheaded mistakes in AAA. Like you will like occasionally, but the game overall is just a bit like cleaner, a bit tighter. Guys know what they do well. They do what they do well all the time. You know what I mean? Like defenders just make plays. You hit ground balls to them, you're out. You know what I mean? Like that's another big difference. So I played shortstop, and when I was in AA, AAA, I was moving all around, second, short, third. And the difference between AA and AAA is AA guys run hard to first base no matter how they hit the ball, right? AAA guys, like if they hit a rocket at you, like you're gonna have a lot of guys that just like not Cadillac it, but like give you like 70% down the line. They know they're out because you're supposed to make the play. So that was the biggest difference, where the pressure was on in AA to get the ball out of your glove over to first. Yeah. AAA, like, the ball hits hard, like you have a little bit more time.
Gotcha. Yeah, that makes sense though, because I mean, when in the AAA level, it seems like you not only get the guys that are trying to break through, but you get also those veterans who never were really it at the major league level, but could still play. Kind of like a guy like Eric Kratz. Like you look at that, like he spent a lot of time in AAA, and then you see a clip of him a couple days ago, and he's gunning somebody out with an absolute rope to second base from his knees. And like these guys are people that know how to play. They're professionals, and you get your healthy dose of those guys in AAA too. And obviously that probably is attributed to the fact that AAA is a pretty clean game also. So
just experience.
Yeah.
Just experience, just having the amount of games you have under your belt is so important once you get to that level, because the more games you play, the more things you've seen on the baseball field. And the more things you see, the more things you can prepare for. So it's like those guys just have played so much more, not so much more, but more than the guys at the AA level. And they played usually those guys at AAA have played in AAA 2-3 years, you know? So you're getting a lot of guys that are going back to like repeat that level in a sense, where AA is like, there's not that many guys like repeating AA over and over again that are like prospects, you know what I mean? Like playing AA, if you do well, you're going to get moved up. Like it's that simple. Like,
Makes sense.
I've always wondered this about minor league baseball players. And I guess it's not even close, but like when you're a sophomore in high school and you're on JV and you're pushing for varsity, for me, it's hard to not, I don't know, you said you were a teammate guy, but is there a part of you that, you know, you lose the game, but hey, I went 3 for 4 and I can get called up because I'm playing personally. I'm playing very well. Is it hard to fight that feeling? Because as a minor leaguer, obviously the goal is to keep moving up until you reach the major leagues. Is it hard to not, you know, I went 4 for 4, but we lost, but hey, I went 4 for 4 and that's good for me. Is it hard if you're I'm not articulating this as well as I want, but is it hard to fight those feelings?
I know exactly what you mean. I was fortunate enough to come up with the Yankees where like winning was a thing. Like it was important at every level. It wasn't just like developing the minor leagues to win at the big league level. It's like learn how to win now, so that when you get there, it's not a strange feeling to you when you are winning. You know what I mean? So it's like, I wish, like selfishly speaking, I wish that I was able to like separate the two. But like, if I was 3 for 4 and we lost, I was like, damn, like if I would have got that hit in my last at bat, maybe we wouldn't. Like I've always based things. I'm just so super competitive that I always want to win, no matter what. I mean, I think Alex can attest to that. Like he sees in the dugout and sometimes some stuff that like I want to win. I don't care if I'm playing you in flip cup or like I don't care. Like I want to win no matter what I'm doing. So like that was always important to me. I wish that selfishly I was a little bit more selfish in the sense of like, let me just worry about me because there's a bigger goal. But like I've never been that type of player.
Are there guys like that though? There are guys that are like, hey,
there
the
are
situation
guys
calls for a bunt, but hey, I'm trying to get called up, so I'm gonna swing away, kind of thing.
There's 100% guys like that, and I don't fault them for it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it has at some point it's a little bit of a human nature kind of thing.
Those are the guys that are usually really good anyways. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like those are the guys. Like I played with a buddy in AAA where he knew how many hits he had to get his average back over 300 whenever he fell under. You know what I mean? He knew he had to go 3 for his next 6 to get back to 3. Like he knew that type of stuff, and he would go out there and he would do it. And I thought that was unbelievable. I mean, that is to me one of the craziest things ever, because whenever I'm like, I need to get 3 hits, I'm 0 for 3 with like 3 strikeouts. So like, it's very impressive that people can play that way. I've never been that type of guy.
But I think it's also players like, you know, Cito, who care so much about winning rather than their own statistics, is why like teams like the minors or teams like minor league teams are successful. You know, because if you have a veteran guy in the clubhouse like Cito who says, hey, I don't care if you go 0 for 7 or if you go 7 for 7, all that matters is we get a win at the end of the day. That rubs off on everyone else in the clubhouse because he's been successful at this level and he's been successful, period. And that shows that the younger guys like, okay, maybe I have to care about winning if I'm going to be successful in this game. And it rubs off on everybody.
Yeah, and I think in terms of a locker room, leadership is very important. And Cito, we joke all the time on this show, like how important is a locker room leader? How important is he really? Is there? You talked about, you know, you've met Jeter and all the Yankees in your time there. Does it really matter when somebody older than you, a veteran, puts his arm around you and say, hey, this is what you got to do. You're going to be fine, stuff like that. Does that really make a difference to a guy?
I think it does. I think it makes a world of difference because I think it all ends with like accountability, right? So if there's nobody on the team that's holding anyone accountable, like I think just the wheels can fall off really fast. You know what I mean? But because it's easy to, in my opinion, it's easy to start slacking off when your team is playing well. It's easy to be like, oh no, we'll win it anyways. It doesn't matter. It's really easy but like the sign of a good team is a team that like like the Dodgers that haven't lost a series this year, which is ridiculous. Like the accountability of like, we are good and we're going to be good every day. And everyone's accountable for their stuff. That's why I think that's why that team works so well, because they have a bunch of people that lead in all different sorts of ways. You know what I mean? So I think having a leader and having multiple leaders is the best way to have a good team. I mean, that's the teams that I've played for that have been good have had multiple leaders that play the game the right way and hold you to a high standard. Because I'm telling you right now, if Aaron Judge hits a ground ball to shortstop and he runs as hard as he can to first base, and I come up and I hit a ground ball to shortstop and I don't run as hard as I can, and he comes up to me and says, "Why can I run as hard as I can, but you can't?" I don't really have an answer for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess on that topic, I have another question. I guess we're just going rapid fire here. If you had to put a finger on it, top 3 favorite teammates of all time.
Aaron Judge.
Okay.
Ben Gamel.
That's an interesting one.
And Jake Cave.
All right. There you go.
Those are my
Tyler has a
three guys.
baseball from Ben Gamel in Fenway Park.
Do I? Should I find it? I'm going to find it right now. Hold on. Give me a second. Hold on.
I
Keep
mean,
going. I'll find it in 2 seconds. I'll get back.
Is Aaron Judge as nice as he seems?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very, very simple. Yes. I can tell you a story about Aaron Judge that I think defines him, like defines his character. Like after his rookie season, where he literally should have won MVP. I think he should have won MVP.
Easily.
He has to go to New York City to accept his award for winning Rookie of the Year, right? And at this award, I mean, I guess Altuve was there, Stanton was there, just like I think the Cy Youngs were there. Like everyone was just getting their awards in New York City, and it just so happened to fall on when the Grammys were being hosted at Madison Square Garden. And he had got a phone call. We were in California training together. He had got a phone call, and they wanted him to announce an award at the Grammys. You know how they had like best new whatever, and then he was going to be the person reading the ticket, whatever, giving the award away, which is fucking awesome, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's literally insane. Like he's literally sitting there talking. He's like, "Dude, I'm going to get to meet Drake. This, that, this." I'm like super excited about it. And he gets to the award ceremony for himself, winning Rookie of the Year, and there's like a group of handicapped kids there. And instead of going to the Grammys and announcing the award, this guy stays and spends an hour and a half with these kids, which is like, this is something that he was super looking forward to do, and just in a blink of an eye shut it down and was like, this is way more important. Like that's my best way to like describe him as a player, as a person, as a teammate, as a friend, you know? I mean, he's just a genuine guy.
Yeah, it's awesome that he does things like that because, you know, obviously any professional, there's probably a ton of professional athletes that just do that when the camera's on. But the fact that he does it when the cameras are off and he's just doing it at the goodness of his heart is just, it's really great. And it's sad to see what's going on with Judge right now because he's always getting hurt. And we could talk about Judge and then we can segue into injuries in general. What happens when Tyler has the ball? Great. When you constantly get hurt and you hear it from the media and you hear it from the fans, not just Judge but any athlete, how frustrating is it? Because you're not obviously trying to get hurt, but how frustrating is it to just not be able to get on the field? I don't know if you've experienced, you know, an injury bug yourself, but how just like draining is that emotionally, mentally, physically to just always seem to be on the IL?
I've been fortunate enough to kind of stay out of that type of, knock on wood. Like, I've been fortunate enough where I didn't have to deal with anything too severe. I think it might be more frustrating for him because it's a bunch of little stuff that he can't really do much about, you know? It's not like a big, like, okay, surgery and it's fixed and you're good. Like, it's always something little that, like, is just bad enough to not play through. You know what I mean? And I know for a fact this guy has played through injuries, whether it's been known in the public or not. I know for a fact that he has. You know, I know that the year he won the home run derby, he wasn't feeling great throughout
which is absurd to me, by the way, because it came out at the end of the year. He had a shoulder injury the whole year, and he still won Rookie of the Year. He still should have won MVP, and this dude was playing with one arm.
He couldn't lift his arm over his head.
That's absurd.
Which is so, like, the people that say like he's soft and he can't play through stuff, like, that's absurd, because this guy's one of the most, like, mentally tough person I know, to the point where, like, I mean, just not this time he got put on the IL, but the time before, he didn't want to go on the IL.
Yeah.
He told them he was very adamant about it, and I don't know if that played into what has happened now. I don't think that they're correlated in any sort of way, but, like, he wants to play. He wants to be on the field. He wants to help his teammates win. He wants to win. He wants to be that guy. And to me, like, it's almost amazing that he has been as productive as he's been between injuries. Like, that's hard to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy because when he's on the field and he's healthy, he's, you know, top 10 player of the game. He's fantastic. His talent is just off the charts. He does things that nobody else in baseball can do. And it's sad because, you know, it seems like everybody on the Yankees gets hurt. And we'll segue away from a you know, standard interview with Cito, and we'll get more into like a conversation for right now. We'll get into a broad discussion about the Yankees. They are really decimated by injuries. You look at their lineup, and it's not what their middle infield is. Tyler Estrada, Tyler Wade. No offense to them, but they're not Gleyber Torres, and they're not DJ LeMahieu. DJ
We got
has come
LeMahieu
back
back now.
2 home runs today, but that's something that a team can't constantly come back from. Last year, when they won 103 games, they had all these wins, they had all these injuries. It was a miracle, and it seems like it's finally catching up with them. They had a couple comebacks wins against the Mets. That's great, but, you know, when you got a team like the Rays that are continuing to grind and continuing to win, it's hard to continue to just brush aside these injuries. Eventually, the next man up isn't good enough.
I agree. I mean, I know that it's tough. It's bittersweet to me because I've played with the guys that are on the IL, and I've also played with the guys that are playing now. So, and I want them to do well as well. Like Tyler Wade's a really good friend of mine. Tyro Estrada, I played with. Miguel Andujar, I played with. Gleyber, I played with. All these guys. So it's like, I want all of them, the guys, to do well, and I think they're all capable of producing at the big league level. It's just that you cannot replace the 2 best home run hitters in the world.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. Like, literally, Stanton and Judge are literally, in my opinion, the 2 best home run hitters in the world. I think. Yeah. Like, they just hit a lot of homers. That's just what they do. They're just big as hell, and they hit a lot of homers.
Hard to argue that.
Yeah, so it's like, how do you replace? You can't replace it. You know you can't replace it because you can't get another 6'8" guy. That's just they're both one of a kind type of players, and that's why Stan got paid the way he did, and Judge will eventually get paid the way he's going to, and whatever. But there's only so much you can do with and I don't even want to call them backups, because to me it's like, I don't know if you guys are into basketball, but Kentucky, John Calipari, the year he had like all those Devin Booker, all these guys, and then he had 2 separate lineups. Like, I feel like that's what the Yankees are. Like, I think that for the past 3-4 years, the AAA Yankees could compete in the big leagues. I think they could. So, like, it's not that I don't think they can compete. I don't think that they can be a good team. I think they can figure out ways to win. Obviously, pitching has to be good.
That leads me to a question, because it has become an argument on this show that the Yankees' mantra is just to hit home runs. But if you got guys on the IL like Judge and Stanton, and you have guys replacing them like Tyler Wade and Estrada, your MO has to change a little bit, right? Because you're not asking Tyler Wade to go up there and hit home runs. You got to play some small ball.
I just think you ask them to play their games. They're there
Right. So you
because
got to
of
play
what
some
they
small
can do
ball.
individually. Right. So, I mean, at the end of the day, like, those guys can also run into a few. They're not going to run into 50.
No, of course.
But they can run into a few as well and hold their own. And, like, I think in other situations, a lot of these guys would be everyday players in other places. Like Miguel Andujar, can we not forget that this guy should have won Rookie of the Year when Shohei Ohtani won it?
Glenn's gonna get going here.
I say that every day.
I actually got
I'm
into a
just
Twitter
saying.
argument.
I go to sleep every night saying that to myself.
I mean, it's literally the numbers were I thought his numbers were just blatantly better than Shohei Ohtani's numbers. Let alone he played on a winning team.
And he played the whole season. He didn't get hurt.
Exactly.
And he broke the doubles record.
Exactly, for a rookie, right? Like, that's all this guy does
total.
is hit doubles.
Wasn't it total? I think it was
rookie.
Oh,
I think it was rookie as well. But either way, like, this guy, all he does is hit doubles.
Mhm.
Doubles, to me, like, with runners on, doubles are driving in runs too. That home runs aren't the only things that drive in runs. Like, I don't think you ask these guys to do anything different but play their game. You know what I mean? You hope these other guys can come back and contribute how they expect them to contribute in the beginning. But, like, this 60-game season is so weird where it makes a team like the Rays look very, very appealing.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, could all the players that are playing good right now sustain it over 162? I'm not saying they can't. But I know that Stanton's going to hit 50 homers. I know that Judge is going to hit 50 homers if healthy. These things I know because they've done it. Like, to me, who's the best hitter on the Rays right now? Lau?
Yeah, it's Lau.
Lau.
But last year was Meadows.
Last year was Meadows. Like, I feel like what they have on their team is what the Yankees are playing with now.
Mm-hmm.
They're just hot.
Yeah.
G-Man Choi absolutely owns Garrett Cole.
He went 5 for 5 yesterday.
He's
like
really
7 for 11 lifetime against Garrett Cole. Can you believe that?
I can. I played with him.
You played with him? That's
yeah.
insane.
This guy had like more RBIs than strikeouts in AAA. That's stupid.
I remember when he came up for the Yankees. It was just this.
That year, I played with him.
Yeah, he absolutely hit a tank into the right field bleachers, like right where the bleacher creatures are. And it was the most electric thing. And then, like, next year, he's just shipped off to
– Went to Milwaukee, I believe.
Milwaukee. Yeah, I was going to say the Angels, but I don't think he played there.
I played against him that year in 2018 when I was with the Marlins. He was in AAA with Milwaukee. And, dude, how about him just switch hitting this year?
Yeah, he's a switch hitter now.
He went deep.
He hit a home run right-handed.
Yeah, he went deep for a trap.
And I think he quit. I think he doesn't want to do it anymore.
I don't know, but that's just like, oh, by the way, like, I'm gonna switch it this year too and still be productive. So
it's one thing to
that's like a range guy, right?
Yeah, it's wild, especially at the major league level. Like, I don't get how, like, I play Sunday men's league, and like if I wanted to go up there and switch it and just take some lefty hacks, like I could probably maybe get it done. I've done it in the past in like club ball. I've done it just to like mess around if we're beating a team pretty bad and just want to have some fun. But at the major league level, to just say, I'm going to flip around and hit this, like, you get pitched differently. You face the opposite hand more than you normally would face the opposite hand. You face the same hand more than you'd face the same hand from the other side. And the balls come at you differently. It breaks differently. Your entire body is just flipped. It doesn't make sense to me. It's pretty crazy.
Listen, I switched it when I first started, and then the Yankees said no more. And then last year with the minors, I went back to switch hitting after 6 years. And I can tell you, I was a switch hitter. I don't know if G-Man was a switch hitter early in his career or not, but I know that I was a switch hitter, and I went back to switch hitting. And for the first month and a half, the whole left side of my body was so sore from not swinging left-handed for 6 years. So it's like, it's unbelievable that he's doing what he's doing at that level.
Is there any pushback from you when the Yankees come up to you and say, "Hey, we don't want you to switch it anymore"? Or do you say yes, sir?
I was 18. What do you think I said?
You said yes, sir. Whatever you want. I remember, and this play came in our group chat a couple days ago, but I remember watching the spring training game. It was the first spring training game of the year against the Phillies, and you make this play in the hole, and you do this Jeter jump throw all the way to first, and it's on SportsCenter. I believe it was on SportsCenter. But what in that moment when you're wearing the pinstripes and you make a play that Jeter would make all the time, are you feeling yourself in that moment? Do you remember what play I'm talking about?
100% I remember what you're talking about. But I have one of those weird like brains that I can like remember stuff from like 7 years ago, like and at bat from like 7 years ago that someone else had, not even me. Like I've had that kind of like recall when it comes to sporting. I don't know why, but yes, I've always like I take a lot of pride in my defense, and I work on defense tirelessly, and I've always felt myself defensively. So like making that play to me was just I made that play Sunday. I made the exact same play Sunday. Alex,
So we're gonna add it. We're gonna add it to this video in post production. We're gonna add the play that he made on Sunday in a Miners uniform.
If you can put them side by side, they're almost identical plays.
I can probably do it right now. Let's keep going, and I'll see if I can.
I'm gonna plug Cito real quick though. He's talking about his defense, and this is my third season with the Miners. I've watched professional baseball my entire life, and I'll tell you right now, I will put Cito's defense up against anybody in Major League Baseball. And I'm not just saying that. It's 100%. He's the best defender I've ever seen with my two eyes. The dude is an absolute magician.
I appreciate that.
Now, let me ask you this. Because
it's unreal.
I was hesitant to bring this up because I didn't know if you would like take offense to it, but you seem like a cool guy, so I'm going to ask it anyway. When you watch that play that we're talking about with the Yankees and you hear the call from Michael Kay, and he's like, great play by Cito Culver, first round pick, but he can't hit. Like, is there a part of you that's like, fuck you, Michael Kay?
I mean, the guy's never had a conversation with me. I know he's never been at one of my games. So like, if you're like, if you're a baseball guy, you know that like numbers can be deceiving, right? Very, very deceiving. Someone can hit 250, but like if you went and watched him play every day, it might have been one of the most impressive 250s you've ever seen, whether he's lining out, whatever. It doesn't matter. Like it can be completely different. And I think, I mean, I had a problem with being too coachable, right? So my issue was that whatever anybody ever asked me to do offensively, I just tried. I was just like, sure, why not? You're the Yankees, you know. Okay, let's go for it, whatever. And I mean, I've had every stance under the sun. I mean, up tall, wide, no stride, big leg kick, small leg kick, everything. I've tried everything because that's what they wanted. And then I got to the point where I was like, I was going back to Double-A for my second year in Double-A. So my first year in Double-A, hit horrible. I probably hit like 202, whatever. And I'm going back there the following year. And I completely revamped my swing in the offseason without consulting them, talking to them, anything. I just completely revamped my swing. And I go to spring training and I'm hitting BP and I'm feeling the best I've ever felt. I'm hitting like home runs to like dead center, over the batter's eye to right center, left center, and BP just driving baseballs, hitting the ball well. And then like someone comes up to me and is like, "Why are you doing that?" I'm like, "Doing what? Why are you trying to hit home runs?" I'm not trying to hit home runs. I'm just trying to hit the ball hard, and they just so happen to be going over the. I can't. What do you want me to do? Hit it softer? Hit it lower? Yeah. I don't know. Home run's a point, right? Home run's at 1 point. So like it was confusing to me, and I didn't understand like what they were trying to say to me, and no one ever really like. I just felt like no one truly like after my first 3-4 years of games, no one truly believed that I could figure it out, and that was the most frustrating part. You know, about like when I go back and I watch that clip and I hear Michael Kay say that, and that's fine. Everyone has their right to their opinion, but like, Josh Donaldson made his major league debut, 27 years old, 28 years old, ended up winning an MVP, 2 years after that? I just turned 28. Yes, 3 days ago, 4 days ago. So I'm like, I'm okay. You know what I mean? I just might have figured it out a little bit late. And this year I've been way better, and it's really unfortunate that the whole COVID situation happened, truly.
And I remember watching a couple months ago the Michael Jordan Bulls documentary, and Michael Jordan getting like fucking furious because somebody looked at him the wrong way. Did things like that, when people talk about your offense, is that something that truly, truly motivates you? Or would you motivate yourself in other ways?
I just want to be good. So like, I don't need anybody else to motivate me. I love this game. I want to play to the best of my ability for as long as I can. So like, no one's going to motivate me to work harder than I've already want to work. Like I love this shit. I don't want to do anything else. So it's like, no one, like, I kind of try to just block out that noise. Like, it doesn't really get to me that much. I mean, sure, certain things will if you hear it over and over again, sure. But like, I mean, Alex has seen me play last year and he's seen me play this year, and there's no doubt that I'm a different hitter this year than I was last year. And I just want to keep progressing forward. Like, I just want to be better at my craft. That's it.
It's a noticeable difference. I mean, on that point, I mean, it's just almost like just more comfortable, and I think from both sides of the play. I mean, when you first came here last year, you were just in righty, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
And it's so much different seeing him from both sides of the plate. It's just like, wow, he figured it out. He's got it. And the defense never left.
I wouldn't say I figured it out.
Knock on wood, but you know.
Yeah.
We're getting
I know
there.
what you're saying. I know what
We're
you're
getting
saying
there.
for sure.
Oh, you don't have the plays up, do you?
I do have it up. Do you want me to play it? I didn't know if we
Yeah,
were going
let's show.
past
So
that.
the viewers know what we're talking about, because they
Okay.
might not know.
Alrighty, here we go.
Wait, where can I see this?
I'm gonna share my screen.
It's going to be on the screen.
All right, let's see if this works. I don't know what the presentation looks like here. Can you guys see this?
Yeah.
Yep, I got it.
All right. What if I go full screen? Is that full screen for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. I don't know if I can get the sound up.
Depending on what happens with Warren between rotation and bullpen. Let's get a strikeout guy in the game right now.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
I feel like, Alex, was the play that I made on Sunday not the same exact thing?
Yeah, I'm going to look at it right now. And I know I sent it in our group chat, but I'm looking at it again. I'm pretty sure it was exactly the same.
I might have been a little.
It is. Now I'm looking at it right now. It's literally frame for frame could be the exact same thing, Cito.
Can I just freeze frame pause this for a second? Hold on. Watch this.
Look at that arm strength.
Wait.
Arm strength.
Hold on. Let me just go slow. Hold on. I don't know if I could do this. 2 times. Playback speed. All right, let's go half speed. Watch this. You're not even like looking at first base when you make that throw. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well,
I always joke because I do that a lot. So like I'll throw to first base without necessarily like looking, and like my teammates would ask me like why, and I always jokingly say like first base has never moved. It's always been in the same spot.
That's a
I was just
great
going to say,
play.
that's all muscle memory, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that,
Right.
you've
And
made
he's
that
playing
play a
shortstop his
million
entire
times.
life. You know where first base is.
Right.
It's not like Patrick Mahomes. He's sidearming, no look, but you don't know where the receiver is. You know where first base is.
Right.
So,
100%.
That's an incredible. What are they saying to you when you get into the dugout? What are they saying to you?
You know what's funny is like
What do they expect out of you since you're such a Gold Glove guy?
I think what burns me up more than anything that I've ever done on a baseball field, and I'm not the person that looks for credit. I don't really do that. I don't care that much. I know when I do something and it's better than other people. Like I know it, I can feel it myself. But throughout my career, like I've made so many plays that were kind of on that level where it's like, it's to be expected. So like at first, everyone was super excited. And before I say this, the pitcher that I make it for is always the most excited.
Mhm.
So he's always very, very like grateful, whatever. But everyone else that I play with, I've gotten so used to like me making those plays that it was almost like an expectation. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I almost just died trying to make that play. And I just get like a fist bump. So like that's like one thing that like gets me going a little bit, but it is what it is.
Do you have a favorite kind of ball, like going into the hole, moving to your left, moving to your right, charging in? Is there a favorite that you got? Is there something that you think you've perfected, or certain like situation?
I'm pretty good at that jump throw play. But really, like, if there was like 6 steps to my left, 6 steps to my right, if you hit it in that vicinity, like, you're probably out.
Yeah, I
Love the
YouTubed a bunch of your
confidence.
plays. I've seen the 360 twirl up the middle. I've seen everything.
Yeah.
You can do it all on the field. I mean, it's incredible.
There was a play that he made 2 weeks ago. I'm assuming you know exactly what I'm talking about, Cito. It was a nutty play. I can't find it, but I'll have to find it. It's on our Twitter.
It's on my Instagram. It's on my Instagram.
And I just
Plug it.
remember,
What is it?
I'll pull it up. It's on our Twitter, Tyler.
What do you mean our Twitter?
Miner's Twitter.
Okay, I'll find it.
And I just remember Justin and I looked at each other. Justin, for those of you who don't know, is our general manager of the Miners. We looked at each other. It's like, yeah, that's about right. that's a normal play.
But that's the thing is, like, it's not a normal play because
but that's what we expect. It's crazy.
It's a 6-6 game in the top of the 8th, 2 outs, first and second, right?
Oh my God.
First and second.
I found it. Oh boy.
I mean, shortstop to me
play
is
is
the hardest
phenomenal.
position to play. How many guys are drafted as shortstops and they move around because they can't do it?
Oh, a lot of people.
What do we got here? Look at that.
From his knees. That's
Look at
ridiculous.
That's stupid. That's stupid.
And that saves a run too, which is incredible.
Right, in a tie game in the 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I pride myself on making those types of plays like when it matters. You know what I mean? Like you can see a lot of good plays in the big leagues, like innings 1 through 3. You know what I mean? But like I pride myself on the ones I make 7 through 9 because those are the ones that matter.
Let me ask you this, Cito. Shortstop to shortstop. You're watching when he's healthy. You're watching Gleyber Torres play shortstop for the first time, full time in his career, and he's made a few errors in his time at shortstop this season. What do you see from Torres? If you watch enough Yankee baseball now, what do you see from Torres that he could probably improve on defensively?
For me, I love Gleyber. I think he's
my
teammate.
favorite player. I love him to death.
Yeah, he literally rakes. It's unreal. He's very productive. The only thing that I think would like help him a lot is like just getting like his footwork just might be a little bit behind, and it's what's to be expected because he just played second base for a full year where like you don't really have to move your feet all that much. You know what I mean? So like
He's 23 as well.
Yeah,
And
that's the
also-
biggest thing. It's overlooked.
he's an all-star second baseman. You know what I mean? He wasn't just a second baseman. He was an all-star second baseman. So it's like he's already proven himself at second, and he's pretty good there. I think it's a big ask because like he was able to focus more offensively last year because second baseman just isn't as hard as shortstop. So like I think that he was able to put a lot more focus in. There was no pressure defensively like shortstop. Shortstop's pressure.
Mhm.
Like it's the hardest position to play. It's pressure. It's hard to do. It's hard to make plays, and it's a long throw, and guys run, and it's tough. So like you have to be locked in on both sides of the ball from pitch one, and at second base you don't have to be locked in every single time at pitch. Especially for guys who are that talented. It's like he can get away with thinking about his last at bat and a ground ball's hit right to him and he'll just catch it and throw it to first. But shortstop, it's like, did he hit it hard? Did he hit it soft? Do I have to charge? Do I stay back? You know what I mean? I'm like, is he a good runner? Is he not a good runner? There's a lot more that goes into it defensively. And I just think mentally, like to be a little bit more locked in and get his feet moving would help him a bunch.
Yeah, Cito. So I'm a Phillies fan. So now I'm watching Didi Gregorius play shortstop for the first time. And one of the things that I've seen from him is just his calmness all the time. it doesn't matter what the play is, what the situation is. He just is so stoic and looks like he is under control at every single moment. What's something that you learned from him as being a part of when he was with the Yankees, when you were in that organization?
Have fun. Like that, Didi to me is like enjoy yourself. Like he enjoys being on the baseball field. It is not a job to him. You know, it is fun. He's always smiling. You can't see it because he's wearing that mask all the time, but he's always smiling, always having fun. And I mean, let's be honest. If you can play in New York, you can play in Philly. Like, it's
That's a good point.
It's a little bit different there. No, but I love Didi. I love Didi. I think he's awesome. I think he's a really underrated shortstop, honestly. I think he's a really good defensive shortstop, and I think he gets overlooked a lot. But I would put him up against the top shortstops in the league right now, honestly. When healthy. He's got a cannon for an arm. His internal clock's great. And he's really good left-handed hitter. And he hits left-handed pitching. What more do you want from a shortstop? I don't understand.
Yeah,
I miss him in Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I
It's
missed
phenomenal.
him too. They got to bring him back.
I love him so much. And one of the things I love the most about him is I know he did it with the Yankees was like his post-game tweets. He does the same thing on Instagram too, like shouting out all of his teammates, like giving them praise. Like,
And he never
Didi-
talks about himself in those tweets.
exactly. He could go 4 for 4 with 4 homers and like, I don't know.
I'm
like,
pretty sure last year he had a 10 RBI game and he did not mention himself once.
yeah, like that's absolutely phenomenal that he just
I miss
he's
that
out
dude.
there
He's got to come back.
praising his teammates left and right. Doesn't matter the situation.
Cito, what do you think about the Astros?
Oh boy.
That's a pretty broad question. What do you mean? What do I think about him? As far as what?
As far as, the scandal.
Nothing's off limits, just so you know.
Nothing's- we
We've
talk about
gone there.
everything.
We've gone there.
If you don't want to talk about it, that's totally fine. I respect it. We'll move on.
Could be a future
No.
employer.
It's not that. It's not that I don't want to talk about it. I think it's super unfortunate. I think it's very disappointing. I mean, this game is like the game is what gave those guys the opportunities that they have now in life, right? So like, fuck cheating like the Yankees out of a World Series and cheating Boston, whatever you want to say. Like, you're cheating baseball, like the thing that gave you everything you have. Like that to me is that's where the problem lies for me is like you're ruining baseball. Like that's not cool. Like I love this game that much that like individually, like I think that they have really good players. I mean,
nobody's denying that. Yeah.
right. Individually, I think they
denying
have
it.
really, really good players. I mean, you can deny it all you want, Alex. You know that they have good players.
No, they do.
But it's like
they do.
it just sucks that the thing that bothered me the most was the cockiness from them while knowing that you were cheating. That's what bothered me, truly. It's like, like if you're cheating, like wouldn't you like want to keep the lowest profile possible?
They went with the complete opposite like approach to it.
I think
Even
what got
after
me
it happened, it's the
yeah,
same
that's what
thing.
got me the most angry is
The
that after they
apologies
got
or
caught,
lack thereof is where I really, because everyone in sports is trying to get an edge. I mean, getting a sign when you're standing at second base from the catcher. I mean, that's
part of the game, though. That's part of the game.
Exactly. It is part of the game. Technology crosses a line, absolutely. But I feel like even worse than the cheating was that bullshit press conference that Jim Crane put on and those like half-ass apologies that Altuve and Bregman did. I mean, as someone who competes against them, Cito, as a professional that's a punch in the face.
Is there? But let me ask you this, because do you think that there's ever going to be an apology that someone like that played against them is going to accept?
Yeah, that's tough.
I wouldn't say like
I don't know if I was expecting them to stand up there on the press conference and start sobbing and beg for forgiveness. I don't think they were going to do that.
Even if they did that though, like would that be good enough for
It doesn't
someone
change.
that
The only thing that could have changed is if Manfred took it away. And I'm not going to ask you about Manfred. I feel like that would be too much. But
I think that I don't know. I just think it's an unfortunate situation for
course.
baseball. It's not good. It's just not good.
What do we got next, Glenn? What's on
What
the
we got
agenda?
next? We can go back into,
We're running about
the trade deadline. What
An
was that?
hour, but this is good, so let's keep going. If you got
There's
stuff.
something I do want to talk about in terms of the Dodgers. It was a late push for Lance Lynn. They didn't get him. Do you think that that'll come back to bite the Dodgers, especially with what the Padres did, not getting a guy like Lance Lynn?
Is he still with them? Is he still with the Rangers?
Yeah, they didn't
He
trade
didn't go
him.
anywhere.
I think it's a bigger mistake for the Rangers not trading Lynn.
I
They-
agree.
I saw a tweet, I forget who it was, talking about how they were being aggressive with trying to trade Lynn because of the situation last year with Minor. How Mike Minor was phenomenal last year for them, and they didn't end up trading him. He struggled this year. They ended up trading Minor this year for a much less package. Who knows? Lance Lynn's value is at an all-time high right now.
Mhm.
Why
Are they
not?
close though? Are the Rangers close?
I don't believe so. I think they're in like
I don't think
fourth
they
place
are.
in the. They're in fourth place in the division. I think they're. Let's see.
They're beating the Astros 2-0 right now, and they're 12-21.
Yeah, they're
so they're-
completely out of it. Like they should have absolutely traded Lance Lynn. I feel like they missed a huge opportunity to capitalize on his value.
And not even the Dodgers not getting Lance Lynn, but if you look at a team like the White Sox or the Twins who could use a guy like Lance Lynn. I mean, remember with the ALDS last year with the Twins, they won 100 games, but, they couldn't put enough arms against the Yankees, and they were a quick out. And Lance Lynn's a guy who could really make a difference, especially in a short 3-game wild card series in this kind of season. So,
For sure.
The guy's a horse. He's throwing 100+ pitches every single outing when that's kind of become a rare thing for a starting pitcher. And he's been successful. He's a guy that's throwing a lot of fastballs. I don't know if
A lot of fastballs.
all he throws is fastballs, which is unheard of now.
which is crazy that he can
the cutter,
succeed
too.
by doing that.
I agree.
I think the Rangers, who have been a very disappointing team this year. Cash had them coming in second place in the division. Remember, Cash?
I was salty, and I still am, and I don't think the Astros deserve to come in second place. So I'm going to stick with my gut, and I'm going to say the Rangers make a push because they don't cheat.
They're gonna
Is
get
that the
hot
worst
this month.
division? Is that the worst division in baseball?
Easily the worst division because the
AL
Mariners are
West?
15-22, Rangers are 12-21, and the Angels, an absolute atrocity, are 12.
And speaking of the
24.
Angels, Cito, how frustrating is it as a baseball fan to have Mike Trout? We kind of say he's wasting away out there, but just not be on a competitive team in Los Angeles when he's the LeBron James of baseball.
But if you look at their makeup,
Mhm.
they're not supposed to be bad. Their starting pitching is kind of and nothing against Dylan Bundy, but when Dylan Bundy is your ace, that's an issue because I don't even think he was the ace on the Orioles staff when he was with the Orioles. So that wasn't a solid team, and now he's one of your better pitchers with the Angels. I just don't Ohtani's electric.
Mhm.
Mike
He's
Trout's
electric.
really good, right? Mike Trout's really good. Anthony Rendon's really good, but they seem to never be going for it, in my opinion. They just traded Goodwin, who's a solid outfielder for them.
Now that's a
I don't-
team
I
that
don't-
I mean, they went after Cole in the offseason. They obviously didn't get him, but it's always starting pitching with them. They don't have it.
But outside of Rendon, who have they signed that has been successful? Pujols, the contract just for what it is at this point isn't worth it. Justin Upton has been pretty non-existent for them. I mean, you can go back to the Josh
Simmons has been good, I think.
You can go back to the Josh Hamilton and CJ Wilson contracts. They were both terrible for them.
Yeah, but at the time, those weren't bad contracts.
But they didn't produce. The guys that they've
No,
gone out,
they didn't produce, but I mean-
and signed haven't been good.
But if the Phillies or the Yankees went out and signed Josh Hamilton, at that time, I don't think any of us would be upset about that. I mean, he's coming
No,
off
at the
a great
time it was a
year.
good signing, but it just
Right,
didn't
it
work.
just didn't pan out.
Are you saying that usually when guys go to the Angels, they don't pan out?
Just it seems like recently that's kind of been the trend. And
I wouldn't disagree.
See, I would say that the Angels are like one of those teams that maybe should have made a run at Mike Clevinger. He's under team control for another year plus an option or something like that. Like, if you
got
can
some
put
more
a package
timeline.
together to get that guy, like that is a move you need to make. Something like that where it's not just a guy in a contract year that's gonna come over
But
and
they
play
need
30 minutes.
like 3 or 4.
It's true, but it's a start. That's the thing.
Yeah, they need all 5. And the AL West is a division that's kind of in transition. I mean, the Astros obviously are there, but a lot of their guys are gonna be free agents in the next coming years. The Athletics obviously are good, and Seattle has a lot of young pieces that they are building on. And if the Angels don't make a move, whether it be a Bauer in the offseason from a free agent standpoint, they're just gonna be left in the dust again. They have to eventually land that starter, in my opinion.
It's hard to land a starter when, in my opinion, it's especially in like today's day and age where like the super teams are really starting to become a thing. Like it's hard to land a starter when like your record the year before was dog shit. Like it's really hard to be like, you should come here and we have like Mike Trout and show it. Okay, yeah, but you guys will lose 100 games. Like I don't want to be a part of that. Like
I think it's also a hard sell being in Los Angeles and not being the Dodgers.
It's barely Los Angeles. It's Anaheim.
But my point is, it's 3 hours behind New York time, and I feel like that's the world's time. And to be on at 10 o'clock on the East Coast, I don't know. I just feel like if you're an East Coast
I think
kid,
money talks. I think if you throw someone $200 million, they're playing Anaheim.
yeah, Anthony Rendon.
Yeah.
But that's where all their money is now.
But he just won a World Series though.
Yeah, so he's getting his bag.
Yeah, so like I think what are you gonna do? Go sign 3 aces?
Mm-hmm.
You gotta develop 2
Yeah.
to 1, you know what I mean? Like you gotta draft right. Like that's a big thing.
That's another thing. They don't have a farm system. I mean, Joe Adell came up this year, but he hasn't lit the world on fire yet. I mean,
He's starting to. He hit 2 in one game, and he's hit 1 last night.
I like Fletcher. Fletcher's my guy over there in Anaheim. I think he's really good.
yeah, that kid hits. And at one point, I had heard trade rumors around him and trying to get rid of him. He's just a guy that just plays hard every single day, and he's
cheap and he produces. There's no reason you shouldn't keep him around. Like that's the problem. Like,
yeah,
if you have cheap guys that hit the baseball and play the field, like you got to keep them around. Like,
so you're telling me that Texas
know.
didn't trade Lance? They didn't trade anyone besides Minor? That's all they traded?
Pretty
They
much.
traded Minor. Yeah, that was it.
Because I saw that the Rays were interested in Joey Gallo.
Rangers also traded Trinos and Frazier to the Mets.
Oh, that's right.
Oh yeah, back to the Mets for Frazier.
In a last-second trade.
Brody said that they needed a spark, and he's a good locker room guy. That's why they brought back.
He
Frazier.
is a good.
he didn't
locker
say
room
that.
guy.
Did he say
That's
that?
exactly what he said. I
Did
swear
say
to God.
that.
That's amazing. That's where the whole thing started with.
Yeah.
Wait. But did you guys know that he's a local guy from Toms River and took a picture with Derek Jeter after the Little League World Series?
I've heard that once or twice.
Once or twice. That's it.
Oh, that's so
And
funny. I
that's a
didn't
team
know
that went
Brody
for it in
said
the
that.
offseason. They acquired Kluber. The Rangers did.
Yeah.
And then Kluber got hurt, and then that's a tough sell because they opened a new ballpark. They wanted to be competitive, and now if they don't do anything in the offseason, they're gonna have a ballpark that's gonna be empty, a brand new ballpark that's empty. So that's tough.
You better do something.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, they'll at least be hosting the World Series if they do the bubble.
Ugh.
Who's the most surprising team for you guys so far this year?
The Yankees.
Minus Padres, because that's just like everyone's talking about that.
The Yankees.
My surprising team from it's actually negative. I thought the Reds
it's
would
negative.
be very, very
yeah.
good.
No, I'm saying the Yankees is a negative too.
Yeah, I know. We were all on
But if
the
the
Reds.
Yankees stayed healthy, this wouldn't be what it is.
Garrett Cole has not pitched like Garrett Cole.
He hasn't.
Jay Happ, other than the last – by the way, I'm taking full credit for Jay Happ going 7 scoreless. I'm just going to say that right now. I went crazy last week, and he must have heard me. So I'm taking full credit for Jay Happ. But no, I mean, Cole has not pitched well.
He's 4-2 with a 3.9 ERA. It's not.
Yeah, we're not paying him.
but
The Yankees aren't paying him $38 million a year to have a 3.9 ERA.
He's pitched 8 games. He's 4-2. You're getting 4 wins. He's had 2
I
bad
know.
outings.
I
He's
know.
got the home run ball. He's
that's
not
the sample
wild.
size
He's
we're
not all
working
over
with.
the place. Look at a guy like Max Scherzer. Like if you're really hopping on the we need more out of Cole this 30 games into the season. That's ridiculous.
I think the Reds have been
Not doing
massive-
anything wrong.
I'm just saying he hasn't looked like Garrett Cole. I'm not saying he's been bad, but he hasn't looked like Garrett Cole. He has not been as sharp as Garrett Cole has been in the past.
That's fair.
Okay,
he talked
I'm not
yesterday
saying he's
about
bad.
possibly tipping pitches. Cito, is it easy to pick up when you're when a pitcher's tipping?
Depending on what it is. I remember there was a top prospect for the Tigers when I was in high 8. I was pitching in Lakeland, and he did a certain thing with his foot every time he threw a breaking ball, and we put like an 11 spot on him.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
man.
great.
He actually pitched in the big leagues with the Phillies, so maybe you know him. Something Thompson. From the
Jake
Tigers.
Thompson.
Jake Thompson, yes.
Bust. Absolute bust.
He probably was tipping his pitches.
He's probably tipping.
Probably. He was part of the Cole Hamels trade. The Phillies got him from the Rangers. I guess he had gotten traded from the Tigers to the Rangers.
To the Rangers, yeah.
And then another bust of a trade for
But
the
he
Phillies.
was gross. He was gross that year until we figured out that, and then we lit him on fire every time we faced him after that. Like, we couldn't get a hit off of him, and then we were like, yo, is he moving his foot? Like, tapping his foot when he's throwing breaking balls? And sure enough, he was doing it, and then, like, we never swung at the breaking ball, so all we got was heaters, and we wore him out.
Now, is everybody in the dugout watching, looking for a giveaway, or is it one guy that finally realizes it and then it spreads like wildfire in the dugout?
There's always, like, 2 or 3 hitters that are really good at picking stuff like that up. Like, I was really good at it. Another guy I played with, Mark Payton, who made his major league debut with the Reds this year. Shout out Mark Payton. He was really good at it, and there was one other guy Greg Bird. Greg Bird was really good at it.
Greg Bird, my God.
You know who's the most surprising team for me, honestly?
Yeah.
Chicago Cubs.
You think so?
Yeah, they came out hot. They've cooled off a little bit recently.
People
but
thought
they
that
were,
window was closing. People were speculating if, Bryant would get moved, stuff like that, as we lose cash for whatever reason.
Well, they're 20 and the reason why I say that is they're 20 and 14, but their run differential is only plus 13. So, like,
Interesting.
That tells you they're getting good pitching.
Well, Darvish has
Right.
been
And they're
phenomenal.
winning close
for them.
games.
Mm-hmm.
but they're just winning close games. So, like, they could very well be 15 and 15.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? If some things go different ways. So I think that's something to, like, keep in mind, because they're 20 and 14, and that's a really good record when the Dodgers are sitting at 26 and 10 as the best team in the. There's only 3 teams with 4 teams, 5 teams.
Yeah, there's not a lot of good teams in the National League. I believe only 4 have above 500.
It's the same thing with the American League too. That's the thing. Like, we were just talking about how the
The
AL
American League
might be the
team
worst.
has the 8 playoff teams already, and basically it's wherever they're going to end up, like seeding wise.
But when you can make a case that the AL West and the AL Central are the 2 worst divisions in baseball, and you can argue one over the other, that's a problem with the American League.
Well, the Central's good this year. They got 3 teams with 20 wins.
That is true.
The problem
But then-
is when the teams are bad, they're very, very bad, and that brings the division winning percentage down because the White Sox, Indians, and Twins are all good, and then the Tigers are at 16 and 16, but Kansas City 7 games under 500. So there's a big drop off between what's going to be a playoff team. I believe the Blue Jays are the cutoff at the moment as we're speaking, and then who that 9th seed first team out is. That's what the American League looks like.
Who do you think is that 9th team right now on the outside looking in?
I think it's the Indians. I mean, I'm sorry, not the Indians. The Tigers. I think the Tigers are the first team on the outside.
Tigers are 16 and 16. They're the 9th
I can actually
seed
bring it up right now. There's a Twitter account that has it. Yeah. So the first 8 teams in the American League are in order: are Rays, Athletics, White Sox, Indians, Astros, Yankees, Twins, Blue Jays, and then at 9 is the Tigers, and at 10 is Baltimore.
Okay.
2 teams right there that are close looking on the outside that we thought might win 10 games and are making
Right.
a push.
Right.
So when you're on a team like the Marlins and the Orioles, who are not expected of much, how do you continue? I mean, we talked about motivation before, but how do you say, when you're facing these teams like the Yankees and the Rays that are just, talent's better than you, is there a sense of we're going to show the world that we can beat this team?
Well, I think those teams realize that they're teams, right? They're not individuals. Like they're good. They're put together to be a good team and not good individuals that make good team. Like the Dodgers are a bunch of good individual players that make a team really good. You know what I mean? Like they're not like they don't have to string stuff together to score runs. Like they'll just score runs in bunches. You know what I mean? Like, and their pitching is good. So like when you're on a team that historically doesn't spend a lot of money and are kind of just like in the mix, like you have to get like good team guys. Good team guys are like, you can convince a team that they're good. You know what I mean? I think it all boils down to like leadership and like management, like who's the manager, like all that type of stuff. Because I mean, I feel like Joe Madden changed the culture in Tampa when he went there, right? I felt like he changed the culture in Chicago when he went there. And I think the Angels are hoping that he changes it out there, and it just hasn't happened yet. But like, you can convince a team that they're good when they don't have huge big name guys on their team. And all it takes is for you to believe that you're good, and then it works out sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't.
It is nice to see the Marlins playing well because
Every team has major league talent. That's the thing.
Yeah.
No matter what team it is, you're on a roster. You're major league talent. You can win a game.
Peter's a winner.
It's true.
Yeah, I think they came out hot, and the Phillies really sucked early. Right?
Yes, they did.
Early, but they're now.
Phillies are hot right now. They're up 6-0 on the Nationals, which is nice right now, and in the playoffs. But yeah, the Phillies stunk at the start of the year. They had no bullpen whatsoever.
No bullpen.
Their
So
bullpen
have you been on a
was-
team? Have you been on a team that just doesn't have a bullpen and every lead gets blown and it's just deflating and you're like, Jesus, this is here we go again. Like, how deflating is a bad bullpen for a baseball team?
I haven't really had to deal with it much because, like, dude, I was on a lot of winning teams coming through, like, the minor leagues. Like, literally, like, the only, like, I was always in the hunt for the playoffs or in the playoffs every year when I played in the minors, besides the year I played with the Marlins in AAA for them. And then the beginning of the year last year when I started with Rockland, but then I came to Sussex, and like Alex said, we were in first place the entire year. So I haven't really had obviously it's deflating when your starter goes and gives you 6-7 strong, and then he goes inside to take a piss and he comes back out and you're down 2. Like, wait, what just happened? So like, obviously that's super frustrating, and they need to address that because I think that they are a team that can make a deep run in the playoffs if those bats get hot. They have a lot of good bats in that lineup.
Yeah. So we're almost done. It's been our longest episode to date. We're running about 90 minutes. The last thing we do before we wrap up is we do a winners and losers of the week. So we give out, who we think was a winner, obviously, and who basically sucked this week. So, Scott, do you want to go first with your winner and loser?
Yeah, I actually don't have a loser, but my winner is Rhys Hoskins. Finally got hot for the Phillies. I just found a tweet. He just hit his first home run of the season, like last week. Before that, he was hitting 204, on base of 411 and slugging 278. He's now hit 3 home runs this week. Since he hit that home run, he's hitting 347 on base of 458 and slugging 816. So finally getting hot for the Phillies, which is great because they needed some help outside of Harper and Real Muto. So Rhys is my winner of the week. Let me think about a loser real quick while you guys go.
We'll go to Ty.
All right, I'm not going to give you winners or losers. I'm just going to do what I wanted to do before. I want to show off my baseballs. Hold on.
Okay.
I got 4 cool ones right here. Well, 3 cool ones and 1 that I'm going to just show you. All right, so this is the Ben Gamel one from before. He threw it to me at Fenway.
Nice.
All right, and then we got
That was awesome. That was so cool.
We got this Evan Gattis batting practice home run. This one stung my hand when I caught it. Right field, Yankee Stadium.
Nice.
Then we got Miguel Sano before he was a name. He hit it into left field in Yankee Stadium, and I just picked it up off the ground. And then we got this. Felipe Rivero, now Felipe Vasquez, who's in some legal trouble. So I just wanted to show that one out there.
Nice.
That's it. Those are my little collection.
Oh, I got something cool, but give me a second.
All
right,
right.
let's see this.
And in the meantime, we'll do Cash's winner and loser.
My winner of the week's got to be J Happ. I can admit when I'm wrong. He came out and he gave us a strong outing, 7 scoreless. Again, I'm going to take full credit for it. So, Jay, if you happen to see this, you're welcome. Loser of the week. So many.
Give me one.
I'm gonna go with the Rangers not trading Lynn. I mean, they had so many feelers out there, and I think I just took Glenn's loser of the week, but they had so many feelers out there, and I'm gonna throw in Diaz too because the Mets would have given.
Now you took my loser.
I'm sorry, but the Mets would have given him up for anything, and nobody wanted him. So sorry, Glenn.
All right, so loser for me was 7-2 in the 9th. You're a strike away from winning. You that can't happen. It can't happen, and we see it all too much. I don't know why the Mets keep having him in the closer spot. I know why, because they don't have starters, so they have to put Lugo in the rotation, and that compromises the bullpen. And now Diaz has to close because you don't have anyone else.
I'm gonna
So
tell you
that's
what
why
I think
he's
it
in
is.
there. But he can't close. But my winner is Davy Garcia. Major league debut, 6 innings, no earned runs, 6 Ks. The Yankees didn't get a starter at the deadline, but a guy like Garcia, and eventually if they call up Clark Schmidt, that could be a difference either in the rotation or in the bullpen.
For sure.
Those are my winners and losers. Cito, what do you got for us?
What's the mystery item? Let's see
What's the mystery item?
Mystery item. So when Robinson Cano played for the Yankees,
Okay.
he used a Spalding fielding glove.
No
Remember
way.
that?
I did not know that.
This is a Robinson Cano
Wow.
That's amazing.
Spalding fielding glove. This is his gamer, and if you can see, like on the maybe I gotta hold on. Let me flip the camera because you can see that he has himself throwing in his glove.
It's pretty sweet
wow.
of that.
That's awesome.
He doesn't use it anymore. He's a DH.
Yes, he's a really good DH though. He's gonna get 3,000 hits.
That's crazy. Is that the best piece of memorabilia you got? Is that your favorite?
No, I have Derek Jeter's batting gloves, Jordan batting
Good
gloves,
one.
three separate pairs of his batting gloves. I think it was like 99, 2000, and 2001 like versions of his batting glove.
Yeah.
And I got those. I have a Ben Gamble Shine jersey because that's my boy when he played for Seattle.
Where's he now?
He's with Milwaukee now.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's with Milwaukee. Anything else cool that I got? I got a bunch of my teammates' bats. I got a bunch of Greg Bird bats. Bunch of stuff
Kind of like the
that.
jersey swap thing. Like, what's the thing you do in the MLB? Is it like bats, gloves, like hats? What is it?
Well, my buddy, I asked Jake Cave because Judge has a deal with Fanatics that he can get anybody's jersey framed, signed, and like an action picture of them like all in one if he just asks because he has a deal with them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how he does it. Jake Cave told me that if you're going to play like Mike Trout and you want to get his jersey signed, like you can buy his jersey from the store. They'll run it over to him. He'll sign it and he'll bring it back to you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So that's cool. I wish that they would do I truly wish that they would do jersey swaps on the field. I think that would be like pretty cool to do like after an MLB game is just swap out jerseys. I think that'd be sick.
Yeah, I got.
Awesome.
I'm not gonna go get it, but I have an A-Rod ball. I got Jeter. I got. This is a name for you, Cito. I got a Rob Refsnyder signed ball.
All right, wait, I gotta pull this.
I went to his wedding. I went to his wedding. He's one of my really good friends.
I thought Rob
Glenn
Refsnyder
had a weird obsession with that Rob
Yankees hyped that kid up. I thought Rob Refsnyder was going to be the guy who we got there.
I got the Raleigh Finger signed baseball card. I got it. There's a picture of me. It's on my Instagram, but I met him at the All-Star Fan Fest, and I got
All
this.
right, so if we're gonna pull out some cool stuff, this is my most prized possession right here.
Oh my god.
Oh my
There
god.
it is.
There you go.
You're even
love
rubbing it into your own guy's face.
No,
That's
he's,
fine.
We got to get
I
Cito
have-
one
I
of
have
those,
two with the
Cash. We got to get
Yankees.
Cito
I
one
have
of them.
two.
There
Yeah,
you
he's
go.
got 2 with the Yankees, and he's
Those
gonna
are
get one
cool.
with the minors, so it's all right.
All right. Well, that will just about do it. Before I sign off, I want to thank Cito for coming on. Cito, it was a blast talking baseball with you. It was awesome.
Of course.
Thank you,
man,
Cito.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.
You can
No
come
doubt,
back
guys. Take
whenever
it
you
easy.
want, and we hope to see you back in the show real soon.
Oh yeah. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
All right. And that'll just do it for this episode of Base Hit Ball 4. For Tyler Blumenstick, Scott Roswald, Alex Cashman, and Cito Culver, my name is Glenn Daenerys, and we'll see you next week.